Good afternoon. It's December 1st, and the month is coming in like a lamb. It's like +5 or so today, very melty, which is good because it was very slippery last night. However, it will turn colder again, and there is some snow forecast for tomorrow, so this is all going to freeze, although it's still above freezing tomorrow, but then it gets colder for a while, so there's going to be lots of ice around. At least it's less slippery on the sidewalk today. Joe. It's a little better on the sidewalk today, but not that much in places. Anyway, I'm doing the downtown lunch thing again, so I'm walking downtown carrying my computer on one shoulder, carrying this in the other. Probably only be about a 20-minute walk down there, and then I'll maybe take a longer one on the way back. To stretch it out a bit. I'll try to take a different route than the last time I walked downtown. I finished the big editing job I've been complaining about this morning, and there was some back cover copywriting to be done. Now I have a evaluation that's in process of another manuscript. I want to get that done this afternoon. That's what I'll be working on while I'm downtown. And then I can turn my attention back to my myriad other projects. I've gone back and forth on what I should write next. I think I'm going to do World Shapers, because if I continue to develop Shadowpaw Press and get better distribution, that one might get picked up by bookstores because of being the fourth book in a series. I think there's a part of me that would also like to start something brand new, so I just don't know yet. But I'm going to start that because I am getting antsy not currently writing anything new, as I always do when I'm not. And once I get this little bit of editing work done, I'll be free of that for a while. In fact, I'll ensure I'm free of it for a while so I can do other things. And there's a lot of publishing stuff to look at with Shadowpaw Press as I continue to think of moving forward to publishing other authors and becoming a bit more of a traditional publisher. I know. Everybody that does that seems to go out of business, so we'll see. Still got some research to do. The idea appeals to me. It's just whether it's actually practical or not. It's kind of cloudy today and a bit windy. So although it is warm, the wind is cool, although not bitterly cold because it is about freezing. So it's just a cool breeze as opposed to a icy wind that flays the flesh from your bones. That's coming. I was kind of hoping to cross here, but I'm going to hit that light just wrong as we get to Albert Street here. If you didn't catch my walk last night, you should go back and at least watch the first bit with the geese. Massive flocks of geese flying overhead last night. Flock after flock. because I was out right at supper time last night, right at sunset, I should say. Might not be supper time if you eat a later supper than we do. Than we did when I was a kid, I should say. We tend to eat late suppers now. But when I was a kid, supper time was 5 o'clock. But I still tend to think of 5 o'clock as supper time, even though we often don't eat till 7 or 7:30 or even 8, depending on the day. There's the old government telephone building's place. See, it says right there. You can go back and read that later if you want. But as I mentioned, it now belongs to the Royal Saskatchewan Museum and has lots of cool fossils in it. Occasionally I'll see a story about a fossil and realize that it's actually right there, even though it's made international headlines. It's happened at least once, maybe twice. Specs is a nice eyeglass store. We've bought reading glasses and other frames there. I don't do anything too fancy with my real glasses because, as opposed to my contacts, because they just don't fit my lenses. Good, I was able to cross here. That means I can vary my path more than I might be able to otherwise. I walk down Albert until I get a good chance to cross. This is the way it usually works, so you never know where that's going to be. So this is 15th we're on now. Sidewalks look fairly clear at least. And maybe I'll take the alley just to be different. Alleys show you different things. Not exactly underground parking, but under building parking. We're on the back side of this apartment building. And there's still a few regular houses along here. Although that one has a rather abandoned look to it. I don't know if anybody actually lives in them or if they're just waiting for it to be torn down. Some of those along there. Back to another old one. I'm always interested in the, whatever that is, lime or whatever it is that makes those patterns in brickwork. Sort of tracing the bricks out in lime, if that's what it is. Ooh, quite windy back here behind this taller building. I don't know that I've ever walked down this alley before, because I don't think I've ever looked into the back of this one. An apartment building that goes back to when they didn't have air conditioning, because you always have those deep indentations in the building to ensure that everybody can get windows. That's my theory anyway. I may have just made that up, but it sounded good. But it's certainly true in some buildings where you have a well in the middle. That's to like a big city. Well, that's the trouble today is I actually have to keep an eye on my feet so I don't step in puddles, which is not something you normally worry about on December the 1st, but today is both slippery and wet. Not sure it's much of an improvement from last night's ice. So it's not an attractive day once the snow starts to melt and everything gets wet, and then all the dirt that's in the snow melts to the top. Everything turns brown and slicey, and fresh snow makes everything look magical. This makes everything look like it's decrepit and possibly rotting, because the snow is, in effect, decomposing. Whew. Stop sign up here, we can cross that to continue going in the direction I wish. Safely. They're doing something to that old apartment building, renovating it, I guess, which is nice. He didn't need to stop. This is a Ripplinger Fine Art Gallery here. Gift shop, art, all that kind of thing. City Hall ahead of us to the left there. Oof. Sidewalk's nice and clear. Another apartment building here. Has kind of a low structure in front of it. I don't know if that's communal space or what. It's called First Baptist Place. I don't know if it's seniors specifically. A name like that, one would think so. Kind of a retirement, assisted living place, perhaps. I don't know for sure. I think it's funny they had to build the adjust the fence as the trunk grew through it. Pretty thick trunk. This is where you have to be careful, where it slopes down and it's slippery. Another apartment building, then a brand new house next to it. A rental space, that's interesting. Pretty nice place to rent. Must have more than one unit in it. Oh yeah, it does. So it's an apartment building. There are some houses that look pretty much like that from the front, but that's not a single unit house by any means. There's the former YMCA, now closed. There's still a YMCA, but it only has one location, and it ain't down here, which is unfortunate because that used to be where I went for going to the gym. That sidewalk doesn't look good. I think I'll go this way. That was 13th. Next block is Victoria. I am, of course, heading once again to the Hotel Saskatchewan, which is right over there. And then in 2 or 3 hours, when I've done my work and my lunch, I will walk back again and resume this. Take an alley, I suppose. I've walked down Victoria many times, so perhaps I'll walk between the Balfour and Frontenac, Chateau Frontenac over here. That's those two. I often walk in front of the Balfour because I like the looks of it so much. City Hall. For a few months, I worked up there on the 15th floor as a communications officer. In 1994 that was, so it's been a while. Doesn't seem like it should be that long, but it is. 17 years, I guess. No, 27 years. Funny thing is, I'm exactly the same age as I was then, as far as I can tell. That's not true either. Probably if I'd fallen down 3 weeks ago when I was almost 30 years younger, I wouldn't be as sore in the one spot as I still am now. Or I pulled something. It's getting better, but it seems to be taking a long time. So here's the back of the Balfour, back of the Frontenac. We'll go through this little alley here. There you go, the back of the Balfour. Hotel is one more block. I will walk down Victoria here for the last block, I think. SGI building, it's the gold one there, Saskatchewan Government Insurance. This is the side of the Balfour over here. And Knox Metropolitan United Church right there. We are right where the tornado went through in 1912, right down this street, basically. Destroyed that church, or largely destroyed it. And many other buildings, killed 27 people, I think. I'll wait just because there's a car coming. Rather cryptic statement there. I don't know what that's all about. Victoria Park. And the heart of downtown on the other side. This is First Baptist here. We went past First Baptist Place. That's First Baptist Church. This is the former Land Titles building, which has the Saskatchewan Sports Hall of Fame in it now, among other things. Heritage building, of course, very important at the time of settlement. Place would have been hopping. Oh, the Administration Center for Sports, Culture, and Recreation. Oh, I put on my hat to start with, but it's already feeling too warm. But I'm also almost where I'm going, so. And there to the cenotaph in the middle of the park. So is that about 20 minutes? About 18 minutes? Yeah, that's about what it takes to walk down here. And that'll be the end of part 1. Part 2 could be 3 or 4 hours from now. Probably not 4. It could be 3, 2.5 at least, I would think. So, thanks for joining me, and I'll be back later. Bye for now.